Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Timmy, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. If there's a strange sound, it's the fan. It's a little hot in here. Because that's Arizona for you. It is the end of February. Okay, we're gonna go through this book. So this is book 6 in the Boxcar Children's series. This is the Blue Bay Mystery. So this is an interesting book. This came out in 1961. In this, the children, their grandfather and a gentleman named Lars, go to an abandoned island in the South Pacific. So the backstory is Lars was on a ship. Him and his shipmate were abandoned briefly for a couple of days on this island. He wants to go back for vacation. And Mr. Alden heard about it, so they decided to go there for vacation. And they took Mike along with them. So if you remember the series, Mike is from, they met him in, Benny met him in school. His family moved to the town that technically the Alden children own. You know, their uranium mine. And so they go by train, they pick up Mike, and then they got in an airplane and they fly to San Francisco, which again is a huge thing. The children have never been on an airplane. This is 1961. Most of the children really reading this had never been on an airplane. Airplane travel was very, very new, specifically passenger airplane travel. So this was very astonishing. They get on a freighter called the Sea Star that's going to Fiji. They drop them off at this island, and they're going to pick them back up on their way back from Fiji. So the children start making their own huts and get their own food. Then things start disappearing, and they find a boat in they end up calling Shark's Bay. It's abandoned from another shipwreck that had happened months ago. Eventually, in searching for someone, because they know there's someone else on the island, they find a young boy by the name of Peter, who's about Henry's age. And his hair is all long. He'd been on the shipwreck. He was rescued by one of the sailors who had disappeared about 3 weeks before. They had been on the island for the last 6 months. So his hair is all long. He's in stretchy clothes. He's described as looking at it like a girl by Benny because he has long hair. Again, it's the early 1960s. So we're not into the whole hippie long hair age quite yet. And again, this book was written for young upper middle class kids. Remember, the Aldens are quite wealthy. Otherwise, what the heck were they doing on an airplane? Owning a uranium mine. So they meet Peter. They find out he's been literally living on this island. He was with this one sailor for 6 months. He's been alone for like 3 weeks. He's been on the island for almost 7 months. And so they help him clean himself up. He has a pet bird who's female, who he's kind of been talking to. So it's kind of interesting. And he kind of had stolen some things from them. So that is the crux of the mystery. The Sea Star, which is the ship they came in, comes back. He has no idea if his parents are alive. So while they're on the ship, Mr. Alden is having the radio person send out information. And yes, I wouldn't be surprised if there's dust in here. There are no ghosts in my house. And that is Obsidian, who is a large black cat, who is 3 years old. Abby. So, Mr. Alden does in fact find Peter's parents. They meet them in San Francisco, and everybody heads home. That is the crux of this story. It's very much, again, around this time, because I am one of those people who don't take a book at a time here. It's the early 1960s. It's a time where stories like Swiss Family Robinson, pirate stories like, why on earth can I not remember the name of the main pirate story? Because Treasure Island, there we go. Which, no, I've never read. I've seen the Muppet version, which is very, very good. But nonetheless, but those are the types of, you have a lot of the pirate stories that are going on. This is what have been popular. This is what she's playing off of that I've been abandoned on a deserted island finding treasure, doing all sorts of the adventure side of wanting to be on an island. This is actually one of the books where there's actually adults there, which seems very, very odd with the elderly grandfather. No, but nonetheless, it is a very interesting little tale. It's only, let's see, again, these are all relatively short and formulaic. It's 157 pages. Great to read to young kids. There's nothing really weird about this except for some interesting comments by Benny about Peter having long hair and looking like a girl, and him needing to get his hair cut and need more comfortable clothes, and something that we would find very bizarre today. But again, clean cut, early 1960s, not quite out of the 1950s type of aesthetic. This was back when just for those of you who are not aware, Disneyland banned people with long hair in the beginning. I got this from my father, who was in California. My mother grew up in California, and my dad moved there in his early teens. So, and they were not too far from Anaheim. So that is the aesthetic going on here. Very cute book, but again, don't take it out of time. So we kind of make allowances. But again, as you can with most of these books, you can always talk about what was going on during that time period when these books came out, and how it plays into why the author would choose this specific topic to appeal to children of this age of the time. Alright, so that is really it for this review. Again, this is book 676 of the book series. So, like and subscribe. I will be finishing up the book series, then moving on to Wings of Fire. I am still working on a bunch of other stuff, so I'm trying to get the basic summaries of these done so I can work on the food stuff, and then the mysteries that are bouncing off this on Fridays haven't even been brought out from the library yet. So we will get there. So again, like and subscribe, leave a positive comment if you have one,